So I was telling you about these Fred's colleagues. Half came from India and Pakistan, and half were Europeans and people of Irish origin. And one of Fred's colleagues said, "Are you sure Hillary comes from Jamaica?" So he said, "What do you mean?" Because I was speaking standard English. So there's a perception that we are all working class and are all whatever. And so Fred had to explain, in the same way you have people of different social classes in Ireland and in England and Scotland and Wales. It's the same thing in Jamaica. And so there's the idea of the stereotypes of people, who they are and how they speak and what they think, and the assumption. I have a very recent story because I have a high school classmate whose daughter in New Jersey is my goddaughter. And she just told me yesterday, she's on her way back now, that her daughter had learned to play the piano. They were sent to music. And not in life could the principal of her school allow her to play, which we thought was going to be normal. And no matter how they tried. And the idea was, but how could you be playing the piano? And I thought, whoa, this is deplorable. And my friend said first she didn't really understand what this was about. So it's the presumption, and it is the confusion, and it's just sheer racism about who you are and what you're capable of and where you've come from and all these kinds of things. And of course, that then feeds into the issue of belonging and the issue of identity. And so that then becomes an issue that perhaps we look at some more. Well, there are 2 or 3 things I want to say. One is that you recognize a certain duality in yourself. It is possible to be Jamaican and American at the same time. Unlike the following story. A colleague who I met at the University of Birmingham when I was a mature student, he was a brilliant lecturer, a Jamaican who had done his first degree at UW and then gone to Cambridge in England and then did his postgraduate work and then taught in universities there. I believe he's now in America. And we used to go to what they call the refractory to have meals sometimes, when I would meet him. And he said, "Hillary, if my white friends see me, and there are 2 of us, 3 maximum, they'll come and say, 'What are you all plotting about?'" So the idea he suggested was that in order to fit into this new society, you have to eschew where you've come from. That's the expectation. That you will no longer be a Jamaican, but you have to be an American. But then again, you see, to be an American, if to be an American, you need to be a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you run into a lot of trouble. It's not possible. It is just not possible. So you have a situation where there are people who are pretending or trying to be someone who they are not. And I guess that makes you kind of sick. Secondly, you have to explore the Pan-African world. So for example, your African-American organization, you have to build a bridge to the African-American community around you. And there are all different kinds of bridges you can, whether it's professional or you went to college or whatever it is. But the idea that the African-American is inferior, and there's a mutual trouble that needs to be addressed, building bridges. Yes, and one needs to be informed. Needs to be informed and understand how policies in North America impact on what happens in your home. And for some reason, I've just thought of Kamala Harris. Well, actually, I didn't know him well, but I knew her father. Because I think after a certain thing, he came and did some work on Jamaica's industrial policy. He's a tall, austere Jamaican. And I'm going to use an example. So there was somebody said, why should he receive national honors? And I said, listen, for a Black Jamaican to become a professor of economics at Stanford University, when he did, the man is very outstanding. He has done work in different parts of the world about industrialization. The fact that you don't know who he is speaks about our own ignorance about each other. And so, there was a discussion about Kamala Harris and her father and whatever and so on and so on. Apparently, those who know the truth know that they have a relationship, which, like many other relationships, has ups and downs. And that Kamala knew her grandmother in Brownstone, and she used to come on holidays. There were pictures of them and so. So this idea that people were, that one group was putting forward of this dreadful relationship between Kamala Harris and her father, that was not true. And so I had to say this. I said, in a way, it represents our own ignorance about ourselves, So that's an example, not too far back. And so we are really trying to, on the other side, while I worked at UW, from which I'm now retired, Obama came. And so it, largely for young people. So it is the recording of his speech at UW is one that I often used in class for different things. And when he talked about, the fact that he had the Jamaican music and he met Usain Bolt and Shelley and Fraser Price and so on, it's about the need to recognize that we need to revalue some of the things that some people are not thinking about. And this is not to pretend or be foolish, whatever. The first place Obama went to was to the Bob Marley Museum, and he said he had all of the music. No, there are many Jamaicans who will tell you they're not interested in Bob Marley, whether because of generational or whatever the reasons. And I have had to say to people, the fact that you are not interested does not mean that you should not know about the significance of these people, because that's part of your heritage. It is part of your heritage. And so you don't only, yes, you can choose to like this or that, but this is part of who you are, whether you like it or not. And so it is in respect of those things that I am saying that it is important. And for the majority of Jamaicans who are of African descent, find a way to embrace the 54 countries in Africa. Probably I've traveled to about 6 of them. You cannot be a whole person if there's a whole part of yourself that you don't understand, maybe going far, but become informed about. And this is something that we really have to address, our Black selves. As I said, there are many reasons why people are trying to escape from being their Black selves, but to the point where we can help Africa to improve, and to the point where we're able to see the benefit of being part of that world, we're going to be in much better shape. Much better shape.